So my name is Naïma. I'm 27 years old. Yes. And I come from Guadeloupe. So it's a little island in the Caribbean Sea. I moved in Europe when I was like 18 to study history of art and anthropology at university. Then I decided this study wasn't really my stuff. It wasn't really, I mean, it was interesting to study, but it's not really funny to have exam and stuff. Anyway, so I stopped that, and then I started to work because I need to live and survive. So I did that. At some point in all that, I decided that, I met a girl. I fell in love with her. She told me about like Thailand. And I didn't stay with the girl, but I did keep the idea of going to Thailand and learn massage. So that was useful. It was like falling in love in a useful way. And then I went to Thailand, and I think that somewhere along the way, someone told me that Brighton was a really great city to live in, and I just like went for it. So, and then in a lucky strike, I actually found a job in Brighton and a place to live. So then I moved here, and this has been 2 years now. Okay, so I'm going to start with something that I think it's weird, but that's really my stuff about the country that I like to tell. Is my country is shaped like a butterfly. So we think that it's a butterfly that lay on the sea. So I found it so cute. And we're so serious about that. Like every child that grew up in Guadeloupe, they had been like dressed up as a butterfly at some point at school. And we have that song that we sing when we dress up like a butterfly that says that we are a butterfly and we fly, fly, fly. What I like about my island is like it's a complex story that a lot of people came into it. And at some point like we have even roots, like we have even stuff from Chinese in our culture and for India. Like I think that I've been around more Indian than Arabic people compared to a European. Like I've been like in like Indian wedding in my life, but I mean, but that's something cultural in Guadeloupe because Indians are just part of the culture. There is a volcano, an active volcano named La Soufrière. So I'm used to be in the countryside. There was a river like 10 meters from my home, so I'm kind of used to have the sound of the water as a background in my life. It's a little bit why I love Brighton, because like still close to the water, still an island, is like not home, but I still found some hook, you know, that remind me home. That's the thing, when you grew up in paradise, you don't realize that it's paradise until you left it, and you're like, oh, that's the rest of the world. And interesting, why not? And that was something that I didn't realize until I come back after 1 year in Europe. And my brother, who had that experience before me, he told me like, oh, you just come back from Europe. We're going to walk around. And it was like, and we were walking, and I was looking at the field of pineapple and sugarcane, and I was like, oh my god, we grew up in a place so beautiful. It's like, yeah, wait for the night, you're going to see the star, and you're going to realize that you didn't see the star for a whole years. And it actually happened, and I was like, oh my god, there was always all the stars in the sky, and I was like, that's a cute moment when you come back, and you're like, oh my god, my home is so cute, incredible, right? So yeah, I grew up in the middle of, with like a lot of smell, I think, like strong smell, like fruit smell, like the smell of fruit are stronger when you are in the tropical area. Like pineapple don't smell here, or mango don't smell, but like when you walk around in Guadeloupe, you will smell that there is sugarcane growing not far from here, you know. So yeah, I think that, yeah, that's how I grew up in the middle of nature with a lot of smell and color, because like even the plants are more colorful or stuff like that. So I don't talk a lot about tradition so far, but yeah, I think that's what I miss the most in my highlands, like all your scents are also like stimulate all the time because of the wind, of smell of your drum, or like your cow, an animal, and just all the sounds that together make life, kind of. And yeah, it's so weird. When I was in Lyon and I was in the city, it was, unpopular opinion, I think that city are actually calmer than a countryside, but because the noise in the city are just like, it's like, it's kind of controllable. If you have like people outside your house drunk at midnight, you're going to say shut up, and there is a lot of chance actually that they just shut up and don't realize that was speaking loud. But if you live next to a field and you have a cow that's just screaming all night, you can scream how much you want to that cow to shut up, they will never shut up at all. And go stop the noise of the river, or go stop the bugs all around you flying. You cannot stop that. In cities, like, no, you can just get away from the noise if you want to. You don't have to be in the center of the city all the time. But well, when you're like in the countryside, you just like, you have to deal with whatever the nature had decided to make as a noise today. That's it. Obviously, the weather. So the weather is a big thing. The temperature of the water. Okay, you heard me complain about that way too much, but the water here is too cold. It's like, you need to understand that I've been like raised to consider that a water under, like, okay, let's be large. Let's imagine like 26. The water is under 26. If I'm swimming it, I'm going to fall sick. And then I come here and people just let their child swim in the water at 10 degrees. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're going to die. She's going to die. That's it. It's a general attitude, English attitude, or maybe European, I don't know what attitude is that, is complaining. Wow, like, not complain that much in general in Guadeloupe. People like to complain. They're going to complain for 9 months that it's been raining every day, and then there will be a sunny day. They will be happy about it for like one day, and the next day they will start to complain that it's too hot. At no point there is satisfaction, like, whereas like in Guadeloupe, for example, it doesn't rain a lot in Guadeloupe, so when it's rain, we're just going to stop everything to just like, my parents will just like, oh, what we going to do today? We don't do anything today. It just rain outside. Like, but I want to go. Like, what are you going to do about it? It's the weather, so get over it. Because it's like just a different way of seeing the world, basically. My parents would say, either you have a solution or you have a problem. You know, if you have a problem with a solution, don't complain about it. It's not a problem, quite off. So, but here, if they don't, even if they have the solution right in front of them, they're going to stop first, complain about the problem, and then go for the solution. I'm like, why? Just get over it. Move on. A decision, a regret. Kind of own my decision. I have regret with stuff that I didn't have control over it, and I wish I had more control over it, but I don't have. Like, if I really made a decision, I'm just like, okay, own it. Yeah, I think that the regret are more like when you let your pride decide what you're going to do, then your pride is, of course, wrong, because that's your pride is just like, want. I don't know. So, yeah, that's a one. Yes. yes. Of course, yeah, it's Leos. It was hard, but at some point he's like, okay, either I move or I get stuck. That's how I just decide to take every little win as a win, because since in your head you will take every little fail as a fail. I had You know, I had that moment when you're on the floor and you're like, why do I fight again? And you stop believing that anything can be better, or because yeah, so like you cannot see the horizon anymore. So, and I don't know, I just took a break. a psychiatric break actually, and then I read for days and days because I love book. I always have a book on me. So I read, you know, at some point you're like, if I learn enough, at some point something may be useful. Maybe just like took everything, and at some point maybe something makes sense. So I think that, yeah, I try to make sense about life by reading so much. And I read, and at some point life just made sense again, small bit by small bit, one bit, just like bit by bit. I felt like I found a little bit of happiness there, and at some point when I had enough bit of happiness, I could do a little bowl of happiness, and that would support me when I'm sad, because when you're sad you forgot that at some point happiness used to exist. And I always have that stuff. It's dandelion, you know the flower that you can blow on it. It's like magic. It looks like a little fairyland. And sometimes, like when I'm like really in the dark place, I'm just like, yeah, but dandelion exists. So at some point I can blow on the dandelion, and that's happiness, right? Quite happy, yeah. That's a wonderful thing. I don't worry anymore about that. I'm like, at some point I'm going to make decisions. They're going to take me somewhere, and I'm more like curious of where my decision is going to bring me than like I'm actually making plan. Just like at some point I want to live in Japan. I want to go in South America. I want to, but I don't have a deadline. I'm just like, oh, it's going to happen at some point or another, and if it's not, oh my god, we will find another dream. It's fine.